Philadelphia Candle Company. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I've uploaded a video, and I honestly thought it would be a while longer before I would be able to film and get a video up for you guys, because I have just been so busy that YouTube kind of got pushed aside for a second. But I figured now is a better time than ever to pick up the camera and start recording, because I am truly in the trenches. So here's a little glimpse into what has been going on lately for me over here. So if you've watched my most recent videos, then you know I am working on a very large order, the largest order I've ever received, which is 150 candles. Which, I mean, if you just hear that, you think not a big deal, but when you're making the vessels, that adds on a whole other area of work. So it has taken quite a bit of time to build up to 150 vessels, because I do only have 6 molds as well. So that took a while, and I have them all sealed. I have some wicked. I still need to wick some and put wording labels on. And I did start pouring some candles last night. So I have till the end of the week to get this order done. So I am a little crunched on time here, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I just have to pour the candles, heat gun the tops, trim the wicks, and then package them. And packaging will be a little interesting to figure out, because I normally package my candles in the little brown gift boxes, but they actually requested to not have boxes and just have the candles themselves, and they're gonna package them their own way. I think they are including these in some kind of like holiday basket for their clients. So I've got to figure out a way to package a bunch of candles in a box, but not have them rubbing together and clinking together and scratching them on the outside. So we'll see what I end up doing with that. But anyway, I'm just thinking out loud here. So I am going to start melting some more wax so I can get ready to pour some more candles. Now, I like to keep my channel real, so I did want to share with you guys kind of where my thought process has been as I've been working on this large order. I am so grateful to have received this large of an order, so do not get me wrong on that. But it has led me to a realization that I just don't know that making my own vessels is going to be feasible for growing my business. I really am kind of at a point. I started my business almost 3 years ago, but I've been selling for about 2.5 years almost. And I'm kind of at that point where I need to grow. I've been steady and kind of stagnant for a little bit, and I need to find a way to get my business to scale up. And making my own vessels is going to make that really difficult, because it takes so much time. And it would be a heck of a lot easier and faster to just grab a vessel that's ready to go and pour a candle. So I've kind of been contemplating discontinuing the concrete vessels, at least for my signature collection. I probably will still dabble in them for like limited edition candles or seasonal or things like that. But at least for my signature collection, I think I'm going to venture out into non-handmade vessels. Again, I just need to find a way to grow, and I feel like I'm using my hands a lot, sorry. And I don't think that making my own vessels is going to be the way to do that. That being said, I know that there are people that are able to make a ton of vessels and do wholesale orders with their handmade vessels, and honestly, kudos to you, because by the end of making those 150 vessels, I was not really enjoying it anymore, and I don't want that to happen. I don't like that feeling, and the whole reason I started making my own jars was because I truly enjoyed it, and I enjoyed being able to be creative with them, and I just found it really enjoyable. I don't know another word to use there, but yeah, so by the end of it, I was just so over it and just ready to move on. So if you've watched some of my recent videos, you know I've kind of been dabbling in other jars, more so for an order I'm working on for my grandpa. but I found one that I really like, and I'll show you guys in this video, but it's been working out pretty well with wick testing. I'm still not 100% sure on the wick for his order. I've narrowed it down to 2, so I'm continuing to test with that, but I've really enjoyed working with this particular jar, so I am heavily considering transitioning my signature collection to that jar. And once I do that and get that nailed down, I think I can really start throwing myself into the wholesale market. I've kind of held back because of just the amount of work that goes into it. So that's where my head has been at. Sorry, I feel like I just threw that at you guys, but I'm just kind of thinking out loud here and have been toying around with that idea. So we'll see what happens. But on that note, again, after I was done making these vessels for this order, I was just so burnt out that I haven't made any more vessels. So my holiday collection is definitely going to be launching later this year than last year. I have poured a few testers in this new jar that I have been playing around with, so I might launch them in those jars. We'll see. Again, I'm so behind on holiday stuff. That really has been thrown to the back burner. So I got to get working on that as soon as I'm done with this order, and we'll figure that out. But those for sure are not going to be in concrete vessels. So there's a lot going on in my head right now, but just busy, and that again is why I have not been able to upload a video. So here I am now trying to get one up for you guys. And anyway, enough blabbering. Oh my gosh, can I even talk? And let's go ahead and just get into the video finally. So here is the jar that I am thinking of transitioning to. This is the Nordic ceramic tumbler from Candle Science, and I really love this. I love that it is ceramic. I was kind of testing some glass jars for a minute, but I decided in the end that I really liked the ceramic look, and it's similar to concrete in that it burns a lot cooler and it doesn't get too hot. So I really like that aspect of it, and I just like the way it looks and feels. So this is what I think I'm going to be switching to. And this is a tester of a holiday scent. I finally ordered fragrance oils from Simbi. I have read nothing but good things about them for so long, and I finally bit the bullet and ordered a couple samples. And I got the order in the first one I placed, and then that night I placed another order because I was just so impressed with them. So this is Old Christmas Shop, and this is the second burn. I actually had to pull the wick out and put a smaller wick in. I did pour this tester wickless, and we'll see how this wick does. But the other one that I had in there was burning a little bit too hot. It almost had a full melt pull on the first burn. And for my candles and the wax that I use, I do not want that to happen because it will just get way too hot as the candle burns down. So I like there to be some buildup on the sides, and then as the candle burns down and heats up the vessel, that residual wax will just kind of melt down. So we'll see how this wick does, but the scent is really good. I really like this one. Did also order just one of these Nordic 3-wick jars just to see if I liked it. I haven't poured a tester in it yet, but I just think it is beautiful. And I've never made a 3-wick candle, so that'll take a little bit of figuring out, but I love the way that this looks. I currently have vessels and candles all over our house, just wherever I could find space. So the dining room table has turned into another work spot. Here are some candles I poured last night, and then I have some more vessels that are ready to go. Some more over here, and some more over here in one of our guest rooms. Okay, I'm waiting for the wax in my pouring pitcher to cool down before I pour my concrete candles. But I did just want to point out that with these, they do advertise on Candle Science's website that they have a 10-ounce wax fill, but this is actually 10.5 ounces, and I also poured one to 11 just to see what that would look like, and I did prefer the 10.5, so I think I will end up doing that. They do also have lids available for this jar, but I haven't decided yet if I want to do lids. If I do, then I probably would go down to the 10 ounces, but we'll see when we cross that bridge. And this is the white tea and thyme fragrance from Simbi, and it is quite possibly one of my favorite scents I've ever poured. It is so good. So again, I poured this wickless so I can just easily swap out the wicks during testing. And then if I find one that is working, I'll pour a whole new candle with it attached and test it that way. Okay, so my wax has cooled to about 160, which is typically when I like to pour for the concrete vessels. I had found that if I poured too hot, it created a lot of bubbles along the sides, and it would actually kind of cure with those bubbles. It was a really weird look, so I like to pour cooler to help avoid that. And these I fill to 8 ounces. I kind of just eyeball it. So switching to those Nordic ceramic tumblers will definitely increase my cost of goods, but they also hold more wax, so I'd be able to retail them at a higher price. And also it just saves a lot of time not having to make them, and we all know time is money. All right, it is actually the next day now, and I am back in the studio getting back to work on things. If the lighting seems a bit more off in these next clips from today, that is because we have a storm coming in. So it is nice and gloomy outside, which I actually really enjoy. I'm all for the cozy weather. So it is the perfect day to stay inside and just pour some candles. And I finished pouring the first 75 candles. So between these and those over there, I have, I think, a little over 75. I poured a couple extra just in case. And these are the Ola Vista scent. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off these wick holders and just give a rough trim of the wicks and move these aside so I can start pouring the Del Mar candles. So I think I'm gonna get them all poured and then just heat gun them all probably tomorrow, or I'll start today if I have time, and then I will move on to the packaging. I've mentioned these before, but these wick holders are from Norden Candle Supply, and I absolutely love them. They are my favorite wick holders I've ever used, and I actually got these custom made for the Modern Craft Labs 3-inch tulip before they offered that size. So they're actually meant for that vessel, but I do make them work for this one, and they work just fine. And the reason I like to do just a rough trim of the wick before I heat gun is because it just gets in the way when you're trying to heat gun. So I just find it easier to take the majority of it off, and then after I'm done heat gunning the tops, I will trim to 1/4 inch. All right, so there are all the Ola Vista candles, and I just counted to confirm I have the correct amount, and I do have 77, so a couple extra just in case. And now it's time to move on to the Del Mar candles. Okay, I just turned on my melter, and if you don't know, I do make my own blend of wax using Coconut 83, which is the block wax, and then SP 487, which is the bead form here. And Coconut 83 by itself is a great wax, but the reason I add the SP 487 is just to firm it up a little bit, and it makes it easier to wick. So I really enjoy blending these together, and I have been purchasing them both at Hive and Honey. They have really great prices on the waxes and shipping, and the shipping is fast too, so I can appreciate that. Plus Angie at Hive and Honey is always so nice, so I love supporting that business. And I will have these waxes linked down below if you want to check them out. And I never updated you guys on the number 9 wax that I bought from 1617. I did try burning a couple of the testers I made with that, and to be honest, I was not overly impressed. The cold throw was amazing. I mean, day 1 of pouring those, the cold throw was stronger in the number 9 wax than this blend that I use. But the hot throw is where it lost me, and wicking also. I found that the wicks that I typically use, which I mean, that is also a coconut wax, so I thought that they would kind of work similarly, but they were tunneling. So then I don't know, I tried going up and down in size, and I just could not find one to work. And again, the hot throw was not really that great for me. So I am sticking to my tried and true blend here. I really have enjoyed this blend. I mean, I've been using it since pretty much the start. I did try a couple waxes in the beginning. I did try, I don't even remember what I tried. I think I tried Soy 10, 464, and maybe a couple other different waxes, but this is what I have stuck to, and I really enjoy working with these waxes. Wow, we've got thunder coming in. This is a rarity for us here in Southern California, so when it storms, it's exciting. And there's the rain. What do you think, Colette? So now I am attaching these wicks to this last set of vessels I have here. And again, this is part of the wick kit from Norden Candle Supply. And since it is not the correct size for this vessel, I just kind of take an extra second to make sure that it's centered before I push the wick down. So probably the number 1 question that I get asked across every social media platform is, which wick do you use? And to be honest, that question used to annoy me because I felt like people were just looking for that quick answer to bypass all of the testing and research that I put into it. So that question used to be kind of annoying to get, and it's not, I always go back and forth between wanting to share, not because I'm trying to gatekeep anything. I'm kind of over that now. Like, I tested and researched for 7 months, I'm not going to share. Like, I'm kind of over that. I more so was not sharing because I don't want people to not do their own testing. It is so important to test on your own because there are so many different variables and factors that go into wicking. So even if I do share which wick I use, it might not work for you because you're using a different wax or a different fragrance oil, or the temperature when you're burning your candle is colder or hotter than my room when I'm burning my candle. There's just a lot of different factors that go into it. So I've always kind of held back sharing it for that reason as well. But I'm kind of at a point now where I'm like, if it at least gives people a guideline of what works for me, I don't know, it might give people a base to start their testing if you're using a similar wax to me. Otherwise, I'm no help. But I am using a CDN 7 with the both of these scents that I've been pouring for this order. I generally find that the CDN 7 works for me for most fragrances. Sometimes I have to use a CDN 6, sometimes I have to use a CDN 8. It just depends on the fragrance oil. But for the most part, I've really enjoyed using the CDN series with my wax blend. But again, I cannot stress enough how important it is to do your own testing. I have also tried LX wicks with my candles, and I find those to work too. So it's kind of nice to have two different wick series that I can use in case one's out of stock or something like that. So that's something that I would recommend too if you're kind of new to candle making, to find more than one wick that can work for you, just in case you're in a pinch and you need to use something different. Okay, it is almost 9 o'clock at night, and I just poured the last candles, so I am feeling quite happy at the moment. So these are all the Del Mar candles, and I moved all the Ola Vista ones to the dining room table, and tomorrow I will heat gun them because I am done for the night right now. I've mentioned this before in previous videos, but in case you were curious why I am heat gunning my candles, it is because the wax tends to dip down by the wick. I don't know if you can see that on camera. So I like to make sure that I just have a nice even layer there so that the candle will burn properly. And also something that just happens with concrete vessels, because they are so cold and you're pouring hot wax into them, the wax really pulls away from the sides of the vessel as it cools. So I like to also just kind of have that melted wax flow into the sides there, and this is what it looks like after I've done that. So there is the difference in those two. Okay, so here is what I have decided to do as far as the packing goes. I have wrapped every other one with just a thin layer of tissue paper. That way, if they're bumping into each other, they're not going to get scratched. And this is a 14 by 12 by 10 box, and I'm able to do 3 layers in here. So I've just been cutting up some pieces of cardboard to put on top and then put the next set of candles. So I can fit 33 of these in a box. So I'll do 4 boxes and then a smaller box for what is left over. Oh, and I forgot to say that these are not being shipped. They're actually either going to come pick them up, or I'm gonna go kind of meet them halfway somewhere to transfer them. So if they were being shipped, I would definitely package these better. But since that is not the case, I can kind of get away with just doing the minimum here. All right, I just finished boxing up the candles, and I'm feeling very accomplished, but also tired, and I'm definitely not doing anything else for the rest of the day. So that is where I'm going to end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.